According to a study, every 15 minutes, a child has been sexually abused in India, which means almost 100 children are being sexually abused in India every day, which raises many questions towards the legislative body of India. Nowadays, we are seeing an active rise in the cases of false accusations also. To have a better insight on this problem, we today have very special guest, Dr. Rekha Kumari Singh, with us, who is gold medalist in LLB and LLM, social activist, and also the founder and the first principal of Anand College of Legal Studies. Before we start with the show, it is my humble request as a brother to every brother and sister out there that please take a stand against any hideous crime like such. A beautiful initiative is being taken by Indian government by the medium of Komal short film to educate children about moral sexual abuse. It is my request to all parents that they should show this short film to their child and tell them what is right and what is wrong. 181 is a women helpline number for India and 1908 is a children helpline number. Not speaking against the crime makes you equally accused. First of all, welcome to our show, ma'am. It's a pleasure and I would say privilege to have a great dignitary like you on our show.
Thank you so much. It is really honor for me as well to express on this platform, especially for this academic and social cause. And I'm really happy and delighted to give my inputs.
Okay, so ma'am, in today's show, we are going to have a brief discussion on what's POCSO Act is. Okay, so can you brief us what the act is about?
Yeah. Firstly, let's understand when any of the law comes, it comes with certain objectives. So, what I have observed that constitutional law, which is enactment prior to what we see that it came into existence before the 1950. But prior to that time, the existence of social status and so many vulnerable groups, they were struggling. Slowly, steadily, there were so many laws were enacted. But if you see the Indian Penal Code, which was from the British's time, and still which is prevailing in our country, there are so many issues and challenges from time to time we are facing, especially with the child. Like if you read Constitution, under which Article 15 Clause 3, which says that from time to time it is the duty on the part of government to make a special laws for protection of women and children. So 2012, because this law came into existence, 14 November 2012. So prior to that, there were a number of research, like if you see the women and government cells, apart from National Crime Bureau, they all were conducted number of research from time to time. And as per their records, as per their survey, in fact, the crime ratio, which is every year, which is increasing, despite we have these laws, like whether IPC, whether the constitution, whether the government, they are making laws. And what we have observed that still this challenge is faced by the children of our country. And the ratio which says that is like 41% of children, those who are facing this problem. And as per the recent survey, which says that there is a 53%. So means there is a need. And that's why I started with why any law came into existence. So the legislature, they found that it is a need. And when it comes to need, so when we see IPC, now what IPC provide the provision for protection. When we see IPC, we have three particular provision with reference to protection of sexual offences. Now, one is section 354, that is outraging of, that is women modesty. Second is rape, 375, and 377, that is unnatural offences. But all these three provisions does not specify when it has come to children. If we talk about unnatural offences, they have really not talked about the children. Second, when we talked about rape, no doubt in rape, there the provisions is talking, but again there is a limitation, because there is huge type of number of crimes which I'll tell you why this then specifically the provision which is talking under the POCSO. So then it was emerged that these three provisions, again outrage of that is women modesty, is also not limited to female. So first is the children, they are not getting protection pertaining to sexual offences. Second, apart from this Constitution 15 subclause 3, which is specifically saying that they have to create a law when they find, as per the research or the survey, the deficiency is there. So then finally the law have been created by the legislatures, that it is a need of an hour to protect the children from sexual offences. So this is very, very, I think, great contribution on the part of legislatures, that they have made this law. Although what we see in our country, any law when it came into effect, it is not like one day the change, the development or provision will reach to the needy people. But yes, the very much step has been enshrined, and that is why this act came into existence.
Okay. So now moving further, what does POCSO stands for, and what are the features of POCSO that particularly mentioned under the Act of 2012?
Yes, see, as already mentioned, the POCSO stand for Protection of Child with reference to Sexual Offences Act 2012. Now, this act came into existence. The main objective of this act is first to give protection and friendly environment when it comes to cases, because when you go to the case, like go to the court, it's like very difficult for a child. Already the child is in such trauma when he go through such offences, because the child is not able to understand what is happening and what happened and what to do and how to express. So when the child is an agree party to such sexual offences, so this is an act which actually provide protection. So first they ensured that what is the definition of sexual offences when it pertaining to child sexual offences. So for example, there is a section 3 which talks about that penetration of sexual assault, right? Then there is an aggravator, like what people are doing, which type of like people. For example, there will be in jail if the child is there, right? So that time, if anything happens, like any person who try to put his penny into vagina or any of such like places where the child doesn't feel comfortable, okay, so that time, or any object, or if he's tried to put any object, so such penetration is not defined in any of the act, which has been incorporated for the first very important thing. Second is aggravated penetration, means like some situation, as I mentioned, the jail. Sometime it like the child suffer when they are in hospital. Sometime it also happen in the institution also. Okay, so these situation where the child are enforced without their consent, if these things, penetrations or sexual assault, like you are touching the very vital important part of the body without the consent of the child, then also it falls under sexual assault, which is very much defined under the act. Third is like sexual assault. The most important they mention is pornography. Like if the child is used or somewhere he's tried to put or utilize in such a way that he's a part of that, either he or she has been used for such showing such material or used for such materials, which can be shown on internet, which they can be used commercialized. So in that case they should be given protection. Apart from that, there is a sexual harassment. Now this word is already known because of Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan. There was no such laws were there for sexual harassment of women in the workplace. And because of this law, which is very much there, like if you talk such words, if you show such pictures, or if you through your gesture, if you do, that falls under the sexual harassment.
Okay.
So this is also incorporated under the POCSO Act. Apart from that, we have attempt, that is abatement. Like if anyone tries also, or they are abating someone to do, or they are part of such offense, sexual offense, doing through the child, so that case they can be also punished. So these are the offenses criteria. Means these are the offenses which are given protection under the POCSO. Apart from that, because when we talk about, we have a family court, we have a that is fast track court. Why this has been incorporated? The reason is for giving the fastest remedies, and most important, they have tried to provide protection. Protection in such a friendly environment, speedy trial, and second is, yes, they need to give in such the entire proceeding must be in camera. Now when we say in camera, means there will be only the affected party must be there during the trial.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is something they must be, because it's very important. The court has been said that if the environment will be followed as the civil court or the criminal courts they are processing, it is very difficult for the child. So what they insist, the language, which should be very simple, very compatible, whatever the language the child is comfortable, that need to be spoken. So that actually helps a lot to a child to be part of such, because it's very important to punish the culprit. And if it is not punished, so they are actually not knowing that what is happening in the court also. So it has been said in the court that it should be mentioned each and every detailing why this is happening. So child must be aware. So the purpose of special court, they have emphasized that the first important, it should be whatever they are doing, it must be in the interest of the child. That is very, very the first priority, or the important concern for this act. Apart from that, their safety, their shelter, their home, their medical examination, all these things are taken care when it comes to filing the case. Now you must be thinking that whether it can be filed before the court directly, or we need to go before the police station. So we have two provisions, like either we can go to special juvenile, or otherwise we can go to the local court, like local police stations, where normally any normal, like we go for filing of any of the criminal cases. And it is a duty on the part, the moment they see and they feel that it is very important to go for such examination, medical examination, or they need to given a shelter to the child. Okay, so they have to record the reason, and whenever they are recording the complaint, it should be very simple. No technical word need to be incorporated, because the child must be known. And they have mentioned the child age also, like who falls under the child. So they have put it the age like 18 years. Till the age of 18 years, they will given be protection. So when the child go to the police station, they have been like the record of statement will be taken, and yes, if the child is female, then of course it will be given protection, and the female female doctor must be there, and the statement also during that time the female police should be also available, because so that the in totality protection must be given. So this is about process of the case, like going to the police station and then going to the court. So this is how the entire process go on. So these are the important highlights, and yes, very important that there is also duty on the part of National Commission of, that is child, that they have to ensure that from time to time, because at the end the very purpose of this act is achieving or not. So they are from time to time, sometimes they feel that this is a case, or this case they need intervention, so they can take up the case themselves. And it can be done through a state commission also. So they are also actually taking care.
So in that case, a victim do not need to file a complaint, or direct any NGO can interfere and they find somebody.
NGO can also do on the behalf, because child, they don't know what to put it. So they must be authorized. Normally they prefer the legal guardian. okay, or the family person who should be nearer to them, or otherwise in that case they feel that intervention, because you know that sexual harassment is just because of the NGO, it is just because of the NGO it has been actually taken care. Otherwise previously the Vishaka is an NGO actually, they filed the case. But if you see the Bhavri Devi, she was actually victim of sexual harassment of women workplace. So in that case, NGO definitely they can file when it comes to the interest of especially vulnerable group. So in that case, yeah, NGO can also go, and the state commission. Now we know that the government also have number of initiative. We have online like sexual abuse this platform also, where you can file your case. But yeah, there is a lot of awareness is required. Apart from that, we know that 181, then especially for the female that I'm talking, and she also, they are really working a lot. But this act is not limited to only female. That's why I believe that this act is providing neutral platform for all when we talk about gender equality.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important. Otherwise, somewhere we are doing injustice with one gender.
True.
And very good quality about this act, that if anyone knows that this is sexual offense is happening with a child, or he or she, if he knows and if he does not report, then he can also be punished.
Oh.
Because normally in India, it's like if you see you're going to the highway, if any accident happened, people are just moving, that it's okay.
Okay.
But this act has also provided, no, if you're aware and you're knowing that the child is actually going through the sexual offense, then it is your duty. Otherwise, you will be punished with 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's very important, I think, very important. And it's like, we have a theories of punishment which says that that there must be deterrent theory. If people does not have fear, they never go, that they will surpass actually. So I think it's very, very important.
Additionally, this has been a major issue pastly. Like in our past, people do not used to generally call 100 or 108
Yes.
just because they
Yes.
were afraid about all the legalities.
Yes.
But now the
Yes.
Indian Constitution have made it so easy
Yes.
that the one who is been
Yes.
reporting won't be asked even a single question.
Yes. It's like because of initiative by Supreme Court, that because ultimately who is trying to support and they are suffering, so then they should not be suffered. So that's why there is a landmark judgment which has supported that no, the person who is helping for such victims, or they are coming with the certain filing such cases, they should not be harassed.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
yes,
that
yes.
is very important.
Yes,
Because to
yes.
raise awareness and
Awareness,
to
yes,
help people
yes,
to come
yes,
forward
yes,
for
yes.
it. So moving further, until 2012 there was no act, no POCSO Act wasn't introduced. Till then, every rape case was filed under either 375 or Section 376 or 377 even. Okay. So what is the basic difference between Section 376 and POCSO Act?
Yeah, see, firstly 376 is giving punishment for the offense which is defined under Section 375. That is defined for rape, okay? Who will be considered, or who falls under the definition of rape, okay? Now, considering POCSO, that can be for everyone, that falls under for every, there is no age criteria, but only limited to female, and female also if she is married, that if she is aged from 15 years, okay? But when we talk about POCSO is actually focused and kept the boundaries mainly for the child who is below the age of 18 years. So they are giving support for sexual offences pertaining to age criteria. So they does not have this limitations. So of course, when it comes to children's sexual offences, the protection is totally for this act you have to rely, because that is I should say that is constrained in confining the objectives. So this act is more wider and clear, that this, if any of the child, okay, who is facing this sexual offences, they can go for such remedies under this act.
Let's move further to the +1 stage.
Okay.
That every it is a responsibility of every Indian citizen to know and to teach everyone that what we are talking when we talk about sexual offences. Okay, because right now our Indian mentality or Indian people just know that the sexual offense is just when a rape is been committed.
Yeah.
But it is way more than that. Like, it is included. Stalking is been included. Touching of any part of the body can be taken as sexual offences.
Agree. Actually, in our Indian society, the sexual offense has been limited, when there is a sexual intercourse between one person to another, like from female to male or male to female. But that is a wrong concept. Now, especially when we are growing into technology era, the concept of sexual harassment or sexual offenses has been, it has went through more these boundaries. Okay, now if you see the stalking, where if you are seeing, if you are through your gesture, if through you are showing some pictures, if you are commenting, if you are pointing, if your comments which is feeling uncomfortable to other person, okay, or sometime it happens that, especially like if you are working and or you are traveling bus. I remember, like, I went in one of the university, I will not name it, but there are a number of foreign students were studying. So they asked me, like, ma'am, when we are moving in like buses or train, people are trying to touch us.
Yeah.
They feel so uncomfortable. But that time they feel so hesitant, like to whom to tell, how to express. And I think when anyone, especially as a female, I should say, if anyone touches your, like, very important, like your body part without your consent, it's like it's give you very, very bad feeling.
Traumatize the person.
Yes, the person will be actually disturbed, and more important, emotionally. That is not defined or known. And I think in India, like, if any woman also raise their voice, they feel that okay, something will be wrong on her part, instead of supporting her. That period of time.
Yeah.
There was also one case, like it was in the mall actually. So one of the girls, she was shopping, and one of the guy who was trying to go nearby and try to touch her. She was so much hesitant to express. And one of the guy, he was seeing it and looking into, and then finally he raised this in social media, and that was totally appreciated. And he went there, he asked that why you're not stopping, because somewhere we have not been nurtured to in bold way that we have to say no, and we have to either you have to shout, and you have to protect your body. It's very, very important. So I think it's very important to understand every human being. Like, when it comes to sexual offense, it is not about only sexual intercourse. It is about that you are not feeling comfortable, whether while seeing, whether through listening any comments, while someone is trying to stop you, someone trying to constrain you. This everything falls under that.
I also personally believe that this kind of topic should be taught in academics also.
Yes.
That a girl should be taught that how to respect boys, and a boy should be taught how to respect girls. Both should know that what private part is and what the privacy is.
Yes.
But right now, I'm the major concern, like where I see it, that why females do not raise their voice, even if it's a kid. Okay, even if kids, then it's a duty of their parents or anyone who is around them. It's duty of theirs to raise the voice. But why do not they come forward? Only because the fear of going through all legalized activity. Because if that's a concern, right now I would say that Indian Constitution have developed a lot, that they have made the effort to put this concern to negligible extents.
Agree. In fact, I feel somewhere we are responsible for this.
How?
Why we are responsible? Because we are not nurturing, we are hesitating to talk. Like, I take number of session on women empowerment, and whenever I always tell them that, see, I am married, my husband is in army, he is not posted here, I have 128 block list. Now why this is the case? Because when I feel the person is trying to cross his boundaries, then I have to go for the first remedy, that what I can do, instead of going to the police station. because we want to grow, and sometimes it happens that we don't want to rush for all these things. Now if I talk about in my college also, I am very bold to talk, like if I am not feeling comfortable because of periods, I should express
Yeah.
what's wrong in it. But we are not nurtured.
Yeah.
We are not nurtured. Sometime if you are talking, people are thinking, okay, like they feel awkward. But why? It is a part of body. It is like, it is a natural phenomena. Then why we are hesitant to talk?
We ourselves are making it a
Yeah,
taboo.
yeah. And I think when you, but it has to start from female. But yeah, she needs some trust. She needs that environment.
Yeah.
And we always say, when the environment is such protective, it is automatically they are friendly and they are able to express.
Yeah. Okay. We went little off track, but let's come back to.
Yeah.
Even after the introduction of POCSO was introduced in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay. But a survey says that in 2018, it is said that 22% hike was seen in the cases of child abuse, child sexual abuse, and again 19% in 2019. So why so that the cases do not they are not seeing any declination, but they are not even being stagnant. They have been increasing gradually.
See, increasing, I should say, as I mentioned, when any law came into existence, it takes lot of time to go to the grass level. And when I say grass level, people are really not aware. Somewhere like in every minute this crime is happening in our country. They are really not know that how to go about this crime, or whether this is offense, whether the person who is doing is made punishable. So firstly they are because mostly, as per if you go through research, you will find more of the vulnerable group in the sense, like those who are either poor, they are illiterate, or otherwise and mostly important, the very important point is like this is happening, this type of offenses is nearby your relations.
Yeah. Someone's
Firstly,
house is already
yes,
involved
yes.
in such.
Now just tell me, if your uncle is doing with you, or your father, because there are a number of cases which says about this father or about uncle. Now how the daughter, she must fight for this case, or she must go against this offense.
Yeah. It's very hard.
It's very hard. Somewhere her house, father, because what she will tell about society, that her own father, and frankly speaking, that it's emotional trauma for a child, that the child cannot confront, she cannot go against her father.
Yeah.
So of course I think the biggest challenge is because of the relatives only, this type of crime is doing. And yes, I think the illiteracy or the awareness about these offenses, and somewhere in society we are not bold enough to take such steps.
Very true. A state says that in India, more than 50% of childs have been sexually abused in one way or another.
Yes.
But the cases filed annually is less than 2.5 lakhs.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think, and that is also reported, so you cannot say that it is a true data. Yeah.
Data, yeah.
Yes.
So that's ratio is literally disturbing.
Yes.
And we are still living in a conservative society that we do not take care of psychological health too much. But if we see from psychological aspect, I would believe that a child would have been gone through a lot more stuff like this.
Yes.
Because that one incident would lay a house in her mind, and it would be there for her entire life. Whatever she do, even if she get married someday, she'll have that trauma with her.
Yeah, it is there, because see, you cannot take out from your emotions, and it is somewhere there in your mind.
Yeah.
And whenever things happen, it always remind you, and always internally you are disturbed and you are having that pain, which no one can actually feel it.
Okay. So it was a wonderful discussion, but now let's come back to our male audience. What they wanna hear, or what say, that's what's for them in this act,
Yeah.
and what should they do for the prevention? Because I attended a seminar on POCSO Act, and they stated that more than 90% of accused in this in POCSO Act are male. Okay, and they do not, and out of them, half of them are the cases in which male also didn't know that they have committed certain crimes. So what are the odds of male getting into such things?
See, firstly, the best feature about this act that it is a gender neutral. Now, why when I say gender neutral, like Article 14 of the Constitution, which says that equality, when it comes to equality, means whether it is any of the gender, they must be given the same opportunity, okay, and they must be given same protection. Okay, so when it gives the protection, so this is an act which is not limited to female, it is also given protection to male. And I think IPC also having constraint when it comes to protection of male. Okay, so the first thing, the protection has been given to both female and male both. So of course both gender can avail such offenses what is happening. Second is, when it comes to male, they sometimes they don't know that this is a offense, and they are part of such offense and they are going through. Okay, so I think it's very important that we must understand that whether it is a male or female, everyone has his own emotions.
And
You cannot exploit just because that child is a male.
and the males do not. I have seen this. I don't know. It's just a mindset or a stereotype which has been going wrong. That males do not come forward thinking that if a female has done such act, then it is not a crime. If that is a stereotype. Even if talk about me, if someday a girl would come and they I don't know, this is a mindset going wrong probably, but they do not come forward as if this is not a crime. But again, it is a crime. Is a crime.
Yeah, it is a crime, and if you know that article, it's like adultery, which is there under IPC, which was only protecting the female, not the male, but that was considered unconstitutional.
Oh.
Because why only male can be punished? Why not only female? Because see, when any crime is done just because she is a female, if she is doing, she must be given protection. Okay, so it was said in one of the landmark case by the Supreme Court that no, it is unconstitutional because ultimately she has also part of such offense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's very, very important to understand that if every individual has their own identity, okay, and when this identity is hurt, I think it cannot be discriminate on the basis that she must be given protection and he should not be. So I think both, and when we are talking about constitution, which is very much says that justice should be economical, political and social justice must be rendered. Okay, so this is very, very important part, that it is not that if male is going through such trauma and such situation where he is exploited and he cannot raise his voice just because he is a male, he is never getting the protection. In fact, whenever we celebrate Women's Day, like my colleagues, they just give me joke that, ma'am, what about our protection or our empowerment? I say, no, don't worry, the time is going to come that there will be Men Protection Act will be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
This right now sounds very funny.
Yes.
But
yes.
I raised the same question in that seminar, that what about men? What is it? Then they were like, no, there are no certain amendments right now. And I was like, there should be.
I think why it is so that if you see the laws for women and child, there are plethora of laws. Like you just sit down and you will by this act. But when you see the male, but why this is there in India? Because somewhere what I feel, when India, especially the constitutional law created, that time the situation of female was very pathetic. And it was said that Swami Vivekananda, if you want to see the growth of any nation, you have to see through the growth of the females.
Because we belong to a civilization which was a matriarchy civilization.
Yes.
Women were the men of the house.
Yes.
You could say.
But nowadays there are number, because I belong to this law fraternity and I practiced for 2 years. And trust me, I should not be biased as a female, but what I see, there are so many laws and female are actually taking undue advantage.
Yeah.
And then what happened that the very purpose of law is actually not achieved there, because it is not reaching to such people, those who are actually suffer.
misuse of law
Yes,
has been very
yes,
much persistent
yes,
nowadays. We have
yes,
seen
yes.
every now and then we are seeing such cases where somebody has been falsely accused and they go in some imprisonment of some certain years
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
come
and it's very difficult to prove then. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to prove. And then finally, the accused who acquitted actually, and you see the recently also in High Court of Gujarat, they have acquitted of one of the four rapists.
Mhm.
Yes, the recent, and I think that has been against this appeal has been filed before the Supreme Court.
Okay. So, just for the audience purpose, that there are certain things you must need to know. Like there is a last scene theory. Okay, this is very important when you talk about any rape cases or any sexual assault cases. So, ma'am, can you brief us what is this last scene theory is?
Last scene theory is actually relevance under the Evidence Code, which is under Section 7, which says that any of crime happens. Okay, so what happens that during that circumstantial evidences through which we can assume, we can predict, and we can actually connect that this offense is connected and this will be the culprit.
Hmm.
Okay, but there are lot of constraint to this theory. In some situation when we are not able to get the evidences, so we try to figure out through circumstances that what will be the sequence, who were there. Like for example, if I say you कि एक रूम में क्राइम हुआ है, ओके, एंड क्राइम हुआ है, एंड सपोज वन ऑफ द बॉय, उसके हाथ में खून है हाथ में लगा हुआ, एंड ही इज मूविंग टुवर्ड्स आउटसाइड ऑफ द रूम. नाउ व्हाट विल बी प्रिजम्पशन फ्रॉम यू?
That he would be involved in that scenario.
Yes, that is what happened, that through looking into the last, the crime or the offense has been done, what will be the nearest by the evidences which is available for you, and through that you try to figure out that this will be the offense can be created by such person.
Okay, so
But I should say, there have been lot of criticism about this theory, that you cannot avail just because any person, because you don't know, or you never know that during that period of time what circumstances was there that he was there. And we see in a lot of movies,
Yeah.
right, and then we figure out, oh, that he was not actually called culprit, and that finally he was given the some other person. So but POCSO Act has this relevancy very much, have been, I think the court have relied on this, and they feel that during that period of time you cannot say here there can be more manipulation instead of the person who is attached to such crime or the offense or the place or connected with that, he should be actually considered or part of such offense.
Yeah.
Because here the situation is totally different. Here the child is vulnerable as well as is not mature.
So,
In fact, this was also said in one of the landmark case, Ramanand versus State of Himachal Pradesh, that circumstantial evidence has given benefit in terms of various crimes, but again it has certain lacunas. And whenever the court are relying such evidence, they have to be very precautious. They have to they have to take very measurable steps to identify. And yes, burden of proof lies on accused, so that person has to prove it, that I was not there.
True.
And the other part in POCSO, when the child says and conferred that he was there, so the court takes it more seriously.
Okay, so let's move further. Okay, so I think the POCSO Act would be this much information would be enough for the viewers. But let's have another point of view. Let's talk about Indian Penal Code. Okay, so do you think that Indian Penal Code is somehow or somewhere gender bias?
I think yes, it's little bit less, as I mentioned about adultery. Same manner when we talk about monogamy and the punishment is rendered to a male. So, but although the government is coming out with new code, and as well as for criminal procedure code also. So government is working, and I think that will be drastic difference in the development of criminal offences. And of course what I see, because this code was established or running from in British's time. So that situation, and you how much amendment you will do? There are a lot of amendment is there. Like if you see the criminal law amendment, okay, recently afterwards you see the rape also. There have been lot of amendment has been occurred, but there is not that that entirely the new, because now we are moving towards the developed nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Generation is also
Yes,
changing.
yes, generation is also changing, and new crimes like for example the cyber crimes.
Too much.
Yeah, so that is not like in correct measures it is there to protect, and the police also they have limitations. The executive authority, whatever the laws are there, they have to confine with that.
Yeah.
So I think yes, Indian Penal Code is actually need to reform, and so many provisions which is contradictory to gender equality.
Okay, so similar one provision we'll talk about right now, just an overview. We're talking about section 375, where the Indian Constitution had talked about consent. So I would like to tell people, I would like you to tell viewers that what is statutory rape.
See, first of all, we should understand, as you have mentioned, that consent. Okay. Now, any of a person, when it comes to a sexual relation, okay, whether it is whether if you are married, and then also, okay, you need to be ready with the consent to have such relation intercourse, and if it is without your consent, whether it is a authority, whether it is in jail, okay, whether it is in hospital, whether you are married and your husband, or any of the strange person without your consent, and if with the force and having sexual intercourse, then automatically it falls under the definition of rape. Okay. Now what is important here, the word has been used as consent. Sometimes it happens that number of situations where initially the female doesn't stop, she doesn't say, and when things go wrong with that thing, and then finally the male is considered to be culprit of that. Because at initial stage, as I mentioned, that if I am not happy and I feel that someone is trying to, because it is not suddenly happen,
Yeah.
it is through certain situations which actually start, or maybe because of undue influence also, or maybe coercion, that somewhere because of the force also sometime it happens. So we need to understand that any of the situation when any of the female who doesn't give consent, and any of these people or person, or in jail, or in police station, when any of the authority or otherwise any of the person try to take or try to do such that is intercourse, then, and there is definition of that penetration also, that how much force and how much this is there. So if it happens, then it falls under the definition of rape.
Okay. So viewers, be careful that even if a girl, okay, I would say a girl, because even if a girl is below her consent age, that is 18
Yes,
in Indian
yes,
Constitution,
yes.
and you perform any sexual act with her consent also, then also it's going to be considered rape. Am I right, ma'am?
Agree.
So here, let's take an hypothetical situation here.
Okay.
Here both male entity and female entity both are below the age of consent. Okay. Both the entity indulge in sexual activity. Okay. The first step was taken by the female entity. Then what would it be considered? The male, the rape is been done by female or the male?
See, first of all, here, when they both are indulged with their consent, then it doesn't fall.
Yeah, but the section 375 states that with consent also it's rape if the...
See, it's important to understand. Consent in terms of age is required, but here you cannot go before the court and you can claim the benefits of doubt, because at some time the maturity of both the person are not that state.
Yeah.
Okay, so here the benefit of doubt will be given to both, but again looking into the situations, that whether it was with the force, with the that female has enforced with the situation, and then it tried, she tried to influence and she tried to put it. So in rape definition, the male cannot be considered, like male will not be given the benefit of this rape in this hypothetical situations.
Okay. So okay, let's move to the end. It's okay. So what I'm saying is that I'm sorry, I mistake. It just slipped out of my mind.
No worries. So I think it's very important, I think, audience to understand that firstly, what I feel, why this type of offenses happens. These offenses are happening because we need to take care of the situations. We know how much to, because there is always a boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like, no doubt we are modern, we are saying that now we are not narrow, like narrow minded, and we are very much growing into the today's situation. But it's very important, like we should know where to stop, where to say no. Okay, if anything happened wrong, means somewhere you have to self reflect that where I was wrong. Because Udit, I should say that I got married at the age of 21, and from 21 I'm staying alone with my daughter, because my husband is moving somewhere Kota, somewhere Arunachal Pradesh, right? He's not there for all the time to protect me, right? But I should know that what are my boundaries, where to go, where not to go, how much to be bold enough. So it's very important to understand, and at the end we should know these laws came into existence that we should be also part of society, and we need to contribute, we need to aware, like those who are listening today, at least as a responsible citizen we should be aware to the society. If we are knowing this type of offenses is happening, we should at least tell them, we should help them, because it's very important. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि आप किसी की हेल्प कर रहे हो, you are helping yourself actually. Okay, so it's very important, help others, be responsible citizen, try to put more awareness, as well as whenever you get chance and you are knowing and happening, please try to protect. Okay, whatever things happen, that is differently, because now to already we mentioned that you will be also given protection in case you go or you raise such voice for such victim.
True.
And I think whenever it is affecting a larger people, we can always go for PIL or writ petition.
Yeah, exactly. Not speaking against the crime
Yes.
itself make you the part of a crime.
You are part of such crime actually.
Yeah.
You don't feel like, because people are not seeing you, but you are very much part.
So ma'am, in the end I would like you to give some message to the Gen Z, because the Gen Z is so running fast in the terms of having relationships and all. So the Gen Z, this generation is committing crime in like not knowing the fact. They would go in relationship, they would indulge themselves in sexual activities, and then in the end, if one of them broke up and anything unhappens happens, then it would be considered a crime. Okay, but in that scenario, none was intentional. No? So what would you like to give them an advice for both male and female?
I think I should give advice. First of all, they are really running very fast in their life. It's very good, and I really all the best. Like each and every youngster, especially in this 21st century. But try to understand that relation is not only about physical relation. It's about love. When you have a love, and if you go to you may be thinking that what ma'am is talking about, love is not really truly about physical relation. It's about when you care and you truly mean it. And the definition of truly mean it is very wide. It is not that limited. Okay, now when you see in mythology also, okay, love of Krishna and Radha, okay, that is, they were never for this purpose. But in today's time, I think there is a short relation, be roam with that person, be have physical relation, and easily they get out from this, okay, now I don't like you. So I should always say that you have a life. First of all, make your career, okay, and this is maybe not the right age to go for this, Okay, you will get very good partner which is already made by, created by God. Sometimes we feel that we have opted. It is not like that. Everything is planned by universe. You will get a best option, best partner of your life. Okay, only just focus in your career. Yes, be friendly with your colleagues, your classmate. Okay, enjoy that period of time, but yes, there should be some boundaries. If you keep that boundaries, you will have respect. And after 10 years also, if you meet that person, you will really have a respect.
True.
So all the best to all the viewers who is seeing. And yes, I should say thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my views, especially on this platform, that I'll be able to reach to like maximum, especially for academician, like especially for students. And my best wishes. Give your best and just enjoy your life. Thank you. God bless all.
Thank you for such a wonderful message, and thanks again for giving your time. It's been like very good. I would say I'm having good aura right now that I'm knowing so many things about my sexual rights.
No, of course. And I think the most important thing, if you are aware, you automatically will constrain and you will act in that direction. That okay, this is what I have to be very careful.